Broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the mossy creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. It is Cosmic Conditions. The new moon is back. Jesus. I mean, literally Jesus. Come sliding in here, tech issues. It's a live show. We're doing it, though. I don't think, honestly, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think we've ever missed one of these shows in 6 years.
No.
No?
We haven't. I've been sick before and we did it. You've been sick before and we plowed through it. We're that dedicated, Joe.
Yeah, so this is naturally how we do things here. Like I looked up, I had a couple of shows prep. I'm actually starting to prep for shows now, Mary. I had some prepped ready to go. And then I got your message. It's like, hey, don't forget about this Thursday. And I'm like, has it been 28 days? Like, that's just a part of getting older, I guess, isn't it? Like time, I look up, the moon is full. I look up, the moon's, new. It's all going way too fast, honestly, just for me.
Energetically, you're spot on. Hello, Starry Soul Tribe. First, much love to all of you. And most importantly, as a priority under a Virgo, first of two, lunations. Let us close our eyes for just a moment. And no matter what your cultural or spiritual truths, wisdoms, or beliefs are that help anchor you, help you get through the high tides and the low tides of this earth life walk, I'd just like to offer prayers and breaths of gratitude and how often it is the littlest of things in the most intense of times that can uplift our spirits, and often those agents or those bringers of that kind of sudden moment of that uplift or that truth. I've been talking for the last couple of podcasts with both Joe and the new moon and Nicole and the full moon about the dance of words, the power of words, how we're casting words. And so take a moment to softly breathe. Virgo's the solar plexus, the stomach, the digestion, and that whole, as we say, that whole area, as we say in Reiki training, the Tara, T-A-R-A, the furnace of the body. So what we assimilate, what we take in the sixth sign of Virgo, number 6, security, harmony, solar plexus, where we feel at home, what makes us feel at home, and what makes the earth body actually in a human mammalian form function and thrive and do better, rather than just be overly stressed and confused and swimming through chaos and not knowing how to handle the shock and awe of recent times since 2020. We are in an emerging, sometimes an emergency. We are emerging to see, and oftentimes what will come up for us to change our daily habits, our daily patterns, which is Virgo, will be some kind of a crisis, chaos, emergency, because when some kind of crisis manifestation happens, that crisis being defined as, didn't see that coming, my day changed in an hour. So if there's that delay or car runs out of gas or you got to go to school, there's an answer to a call of a child or a grandchild, or there's some kind of disruption or eruption going on in your local area with weather or crime or breakups or betrayals or choosing yourself to bid farewell when it seems like fate is telling you, let that animal go, that person's got to go into their spiritual pastures. We're in a cycle right now, as we breathe deeply, to really focus on, in this moment, in the gift of the now, in this present, the gift, in this present moment, literally as I breathe, in respect to the sacred sources, to the divine presence. Almighty I am, Almighty I am, Almighty I am forces imbue. Virgo's about purification, it's about cleansing, it's about clarity, and it's about the boots on the ground discipline to have to face the music, to finally attend to ourselves, to attend to our wellness. And with this first lunation, this first new moons are seeds of change, seeds of beginning, with both the shift in the earthy yin energy of the harvest maiden, the maiden of the crops and the grains. There's an asteroid named Ceres. It has to do with the grains and the cereal, and Demeter, the earth. This first Virgo black moons occur when there's 4 new moons in one particular season. Virgo is the final sign before we start the new season at autumnal equinox in the northern hemisphere, when we start to have autumn or fall. So Virgo is the wrapping up of the season when we went to summer solstice, when we went to the solstice point in whichever hemisphere that you're in. So there's solstice points, sun stands still, solstice, and then there's equinox points, equal, day, night. So it's as if we're going, when you get to the autumnal equinox, we're going into yang energy. Since March of this year, the outer, slower moving planets have been shifting to cycles of 7 years and 3 years of feminine, wise medicine women signs of like Pisces and Taurus, and Pluto is in Capricorn, and they're shifting. We've been talking about the energetic signature shifting. So we've got Saturn and Neptune retrograde in the fire sign of Aries. Whole new era, whole new epic times. Intense. The spark of the fire that does light. It doesn't take 5 or 6 times. It's when the fire is first lit. That's Aries. And then we have Pluto in Aquarius, and then we had Uranus join in Gemini, and all these planets have been retrograde, like 5 retrogrades, I think, in last month. And then we have this emerging, chaotic soul roller coaster ride that's been going on since we had the intensification of Mars spending a long time in the sign of the Lion. Mars is now in a much more find resolutions, experience recovery. Now we have some answers, didn't have all the facts, got to have the evidence. Otherwise, it's either my assumptions or everybody else's opinions or assumptions, and that's like air flying around your head, orbiting. Because if you don't have the evidence, if you don't have the hard facts, if you don't have that starting point of this is the reality of what must be attended to, and the Virgo aspect of it is, and now this is the work to be done, now that I know what the facts are, now that I have the evidence. Well, let me give you an example about a Virgo moment. Ever since early August, and sometimes little quick personal stories will help because I'm also hearing this from my clients. As of early August, Source, Spirit, decided that a routine trip in order to support and be an ally with another core tribal sister to another friend of ours for just a regularly scheduled surgery ended up being a crisis that followed after that, even though that surgery was flawless and perfect and still is. So there came a chaotic moment, a disruption that happened that put all of the tribe on point. People that I've worked with, ceremonial medicine wheels, people that I've known at least 2 decades. There's a tribe of our tribal brothers and sisters, and it's just kind of like a karmic family. So everybody was enlisted to help a tribal sibling, a soul sibling, get through an unforeseen crisis after already some challenging things. And the miracles, and as intense as it was, I'll just say this about that. From the medical experts' words, minutes away from leaving the planet, minutes away from a death experience. That's surprising. So the things like this and the miraculous healing that's still going on, the blooming, if you will, by taking those steps, by step, moment by moment, and really leaning into how a crisis can throw you into gratitude, and it's the little things. So I go to this restaurant on the day of the moon on Monday after the tide hadn't turned quite quickly after the unexpected medical energetic emerging that took place. So on Monday, another tribal person and I met to kind of have a decompress, keep the prayers and the medicine going at a place that I'd only been to once with the very person that was going through the situation. And I'm going to give them credit because I've lived in Florida, I've had restaurants in New York and Chicago, but never in my life walk have I just glanced at a receipt, a printed receipt from a restaurant that uplifted me incredibly in a moment that was just printed words, Uranus and Gemini, Mercury words, Mercury communication rules, this new moon, rules the energetic signature of both Gemini and Virgo. And after the place is absolutely an Italian feast. I mean, they put right on their menu. We only use the finest ingredients, and it looks like a medieval castle. So it's not lunch; it's a feast. It's a 5-star feast at incredibly reasonable prices. That's a plus. And it's this place I'd never been, never heard of before. Mariolino's Italian Cuisine in Murphy, North Carolina, in Western North Carolina. So I'm happy that I have the resources to treat. I'm feeling like that's gratitude to me. I love that I can treat another person that is important in my life. And I just happened to glance below cash price is this, credit card price is this. And I'm like, what are those words? And this is what it said. You had a choice and you chose us. Thank you. And I'm like, whoa, that's class act. So in that moment, words, we've been talking about these shifts of the next 7 years being with Uranus and Gemini, and that brings us to this first of 2 Virgo new moons. The next one is an eclipse. The power of words, our self-talk, where we might be limiting ourselves, where we have in the past, besides what's going on in the news and political fires and weather wars and and crisis points. I mean, I'm talking to so many people and I'm listening to so many different people talk about, hey, let's help each other navigate through these cray-cray times. There's a lot of stuff spinning faster. So it's not just that, to your point, Joe, it's not just that maybe when we're getting older, it certainly seems like time flies. I can remember when I was 9 years old, I wanted the rain to stop so I could hurry up and go run on the mountain again in Tennessee. I get the impatience thing that when you're younger and you don't have the obligations of housing and cars and work and responding and relationships and all that, you're 9 years old, you just want to get out there and run with the dog. So this is a time to find those core level gives to yourself. Like if you really enjoy a certain feast or a certain food item, Virgo is agriculture. Virgo is somebody got out there, and it's the cow's stomach, for example. It's the goat milk. It's the dairy milk. It's what the digestive system does to purge and cleanse and repair and keep all the systems going. It's those soft internal organs. People think about their teeth and their bones, and it's the bowels. It's the way that we're actually de-stressing ourselves sometimes, even to the point of psychological food addiction or compulsions. So it's where we want to escape, Pisces, and where we want to face it and heal and apply the discipline, Virgo. That's the axis that's hitting our chart right now. And this new moon at 0 degrees, 2 really powerful impact points mystically in the cosmic conditions of things, is the 0 point and the 29th degree. So this Virgo lunation, new moon, where the sun and moon are married and bringing that principle forth of Mary Magdalene and the mother of Jesus and Eve in the garden and the wise women, all the wise women that are teaching us about how to soothe our ragged edge emotions and moods, and the herbalists and the medicine women and the nurses in the Pisces hospital and the physical therapists that bring us and help put Humpty Dumpty back together, in the surgeries and the repair. So this is repair and recovery time. And for some, it will be financial. For some, it will be emotional. For some, it will be rising back up physically. And for others, it will be the great crisis or chaos moment that happened was also on a multi-layer feast of reckoning and recovery and liberation, is that we finally got over being too earthbound in trying to direct it, control it, overthink it, over-worry it, lose our sleep, avoid, certain wellness protocols and habits that we need to do, and the silent worry that a lot of people, and that I've done, a lot of people do. It's easier somehow to be in a web of fear than it is to be able to be at the banquet of faith, to say, okay, something's wrong with my tooth, I'll go get it checked out. I normally have really, really good dental things because I go every 6 months, and most people run from that, and I'm very blessed to have a good dental practice in my life because I know about Capricorn and bones, so I pay attention to it because that's in my chart. And this time it was like I had to have 2 fillings. I hadn't had to have fillings in 20 years. And so then they found out, oh no, there's 4. They're really, really little now. They haven't even broke the surface. And I said, do them all. People both kind of looked at me because they're so used to people being scared, and I'm like, yeah, Pluto's in Aquarius. Yeah, we're going to get this done. It's in Leo. And even the very wonderful Hindu dentist comes in and he's so gentle and he goes, are you sure you want to do this? I said, yeah, I'm sure. And I said, it's one and done. And he goes, well, I'm going to have to give you injections in both sides of your mouth and your tongue will be very numb and the whole bottom of your jaw will be numb. Are you okay after this? And I'm like, we're going to do this right now. And I said, I'm an incredible patient if I don't feel it. And honest to God, my hand to God, when I was a child, I was needle phobic. So I hated needles. Oh my God, at 5 years old, I ran out in Knoxville, Tennessee. My mother had to chase me down the street. I'm in my underwear running down the street. She goes, that's my child. Oh my God. And I ran out of a doctor's office and I said, they're not going to stick me in the butt with that shot. I'm out. I mean, I wasn't afraid of traffic. I was a feral dog, still am. I was a feral dog going down the street. I didn't care how much trouble I was going to get into. So imagine then going to the dentist and it was like, okay, I'm in a freak show. So my discipline to all the Scorpio in my chart was like, I don't like that controlling me. I don't like that. It worries me. It eats up too much of my energy, and I'm going to conquer that. So when you study hypnosis, when you get into mysticism, when you do any kind of ceremonial or ritual or dedications and prayers, with that comes the Virgo energy of now will you apply it? Will you do the discipline? Will you do the work that needs to be done and the dedication to get over your badass self? Will you stick to it? Will you adjust your daily routine not to drink Mountain Dew like they do in Tennessee, 3 times a day? Will you come back and start to celebrate some type of wellness? So Virgo is when you find those wise people in your world, when you find the wise people like I was lucky to do, when you go back to these cycles, we're kind of rolling back into cycles, and we're all different ages here, but some of us remember the 80s. So like in 1988, 1989, when Uranus came together in Sagittarius, the opposite of where it is now in Gemini, the Berlin Wall came down. So there was like a lot of it. Tell me why. Yeah. Amen. Wow. Oh, wow. Mm. Well, the other cycle of Uranus and Gemini was the Revolutionary War and then World War II. So don't be surprised if those little synchronized, like you're talking about, parallels start to come up. What Gemini, anytime Mercury, the trickster, or the messenger, here's the words whether you like them or not. Well, here's some news I have to tell you. This might be a little hard, but these are the results of the test. This is the evidence we have in our hand. What say you? Like when you finally get to, oh my God, I got to go to court. What's going to happen? Oh my God, I got to get an attorney. Oh, my insurance is all that kind of stuff we do. When we finally get to, I guess, do it day, D-Day, this is it. You got to face the music no matter how much we scream, cry, yell, go to sleep, avoid it, take a drink, take a drug. Virgo's about what are you digesting? What are you swallowing? People sometimes will say, let me sleep on it. Have you lost your sleep? And so when you get into the example of Virgo, whether it's the results of the harvest, we have the first fruits that start coming up in summer. And then when we're getting into when we're getting ready to change into the sign of Virgo, which happens like over this weekend, then it's like, this is what my garden, this is going to be the finality of the crops of the gardens of 2025, unless you go into, underground root crops and you have 4 seasons. So Virgo right now is assessing the grains, separating the wheat from the chaff. We're at a point right now where it's like, how's my pantry looking well before it's going to cost me too much to get close to it to winter. So this is about preparation, but there's a different kind of shift with this, Joe. When you've got Aries planets, when you've got, Mars and Libra kind of fighting with it, when you've got what they call, like in that picture of Michelangelo, there's that famous picture where the man's on a cloud and he's got his finger pointing up, and then there's the finger of God or the finger of fate or the finger of the I am that I am touching, in that famous picture of Michelangelo, the finger of God. There's one of those aspects going on where the Aries factor of Saturn and Neptune at 0 to 1 to 2 degrees of Aries is getting along with Pluto sitting in Aquarius. It's called a sextile, 60 degrees, very harmonious. It instigates things. It gives us resolutions. It gives us hope. It gives us evidence. It gives us the evidence where before it was just things not seen, things felt, but there was no resolution. Now the resolutions are coming, but the pointing part of the Aries and the Aquarius, that forms like the backside of an elongated triangle. The point that they both are lighting up, what's illuminated, is the sun and moon in Virgo. So in every case, just what Joe said to you, audience, in every case, we've been surprised our own selves that we're either in the medical discovery point of, let me monitor this, let me get a test for that, let me get the fillings, I can take this out there, whatever it is. You know, we're in Pisces is like the hospital and the incorporation of, oh my gosh, I don't want to be scared of what's going to happen. Oh, I don't want to be scared of what I have to do to get back to my best version of myself physically. But all healing comes from going deeper in your inner landscapes, in the inner worlds, in the soul garden. There's a reason why SOIL and SOUL, the soil of your soul. Where are there fault lines? Are there ruptures? Is there leakage? Is there healing? Is it inflamed? Is it hot? Is it freezing? Is it seized up? So the Pisces part of it is, O ye of little faith, come to me. I am walking alongside you. When I spent 20 years traveling around to the west, from Florida to the west to up in the mountains to do different types of ceremonial circles to learn to heal and release the imagined and that which was unimagined, the unknown and the known in that ceremonial fire, in the cornmeal ceremony. I spent the money. I spent the time. It was the most incredible, mystical earth version of what my heavenly faith fuel was. So for me, these indigenous cultures, for me, the reason of the constellation names, this full moon is the heart of the lion. It's Regulus. It's 0 degrees, the 0 point of where it's shifted from 29 Leo by progression of sidereal time into the beginning points of Virgo. So we have the heart of the lion, the crowning glory of the heart chakra, and the heart center. And the last 3 weeks have been showing us if there's anything misaligned, if there's anything that you feel that you're punishing yourself for, or that you're too frustrated over, or you're feeling like it's out of control or slipping through your fingers, all you got to do is go back to your heart and say, supernatural grace and glory that breathes life and seated with the breath of the divine life into my physical earthly vessel. I allow you to be the director of all the changes. I allow you, Almighty I Am, Great Spirit, Holy Ghost, to now take the control, and I will abide in faith, allowing my discernment to lead the way. So you've got to get that director. You've got to get the navigational path and the compass, but somebody's got to be kind of like your path leader. And if you're normally a path leader, if you're normally the healer, if you're normally the mystic or the doctor or the dental hygienist or the veterinarian, if you're normally the one that has the solutions, it's a whole different game. When you get the crisis and you get the interruption and you've got to be the one because you're so independent and there's so many people rely on you and you help so many people, and all of a sudden you go vacant or vanishing. I know a whole lot of astrologers and light workers and healers that have been going through monumental personal interruptions and big cycle course corrections lately. I mean, a lot of the people that have been in the field for a long time going, whoa, this is rich ultimately, but this is intense right now. Yeah, so this is layered. So we are, so I want you to think about in castles, Joe, in castles, where in life do we get to have a feast? So the feast in the castles, the cornucopia horn we think about. So Thanksgivings and Hanukkahs and Christmases and weddings. And sometimes after church events, those great, after church picnics that the church ladies do. Oh my God, are those incredible recipes and things. But so when we are celebrating, when we are honoring someone a memorial and there's food that's brought. When Southern people, we have a habit, if a crisis happens, people just show up and bring food. They just bring food. They don't need a receipt. They don't need a thank you. They just show up and they bring food, or they just sit with you in silence. Now they have fancy words for that nowadays called, holding space, and sitting in the silence and being a death or a birth doula. And, I saw something so funny, Joe, that made me think of you and I being Southern. I mean, I took Reiki, I got certified in it, and I just think this is so hilarious. I was this many years old when I realized there was a meme that said, y'all can talk about Reiki and all your fancy healing and your ceremonies with that ayahuasca stuff all you want to. In the South here, we've been doing it all along. It's called the laying on of hands.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, my God, it's so true. It's so true.
There's a lot of that going on in church when I was a kid. Can you guys hear me now? They couldn't hear me before, but yeah. They put the hands in the air and put hands on each other,
Yes.
Like
glory,
that.
Grace and glory.
You ever seen that thing, light as a feather, stiff as a board kind of deal? That's kind of like laying on hands. Of course, I mean, you're a witch, right? Like, of course you have. Where people, they put their hands above the head, and then they go light as a feather, stiff as a board. Then they take the two fingers and pick the person up,
Yes.
Because you can't, you can't pick them up at first, and then they all kind of put their energy together, and then they slide fingers under them and pick them up with like it's easy. There's something weird going on there,
Osteopaths and chiropractors, they teach you kinesiology, and they'll tell you. I've seen it in health food stores. There's a health food store in this town I used to live at. The whole store, husband and wife team, best herbal medicine people I've ever come across. Best. The whole store, Murphy, North Carolina. And they kinesiology is like you do muscle testing and they'll say, hold out your dominant hand, the one you think's your strongest hand. And they'll say, okay, now you're not going to drop your arm in no way. Just you set it in your mind. You are not going to drop your arm at all. And they'll they'll say, is this herb good for you in your arm? And they'll just gently push down on your arm. Absolutely no force. And it'll stay right there like, oh, duh, my arm's not going to go down. You just gently touch me. You put something in my hand that's not, that they say, and this is muscle testing, and is this good for the body at this time? They'll lightly touch your arm, and it goes straight down. And I have fought it, and I have tried, and I've witnessed it. So that whole kinesiology, a.k.a. muscle testing, is another energetic way, like Reiki, like laying on of hands, like vibrational healing, like going at a high vibrational with singing bowls and crystals and vibrational music and toning and humming. Let me tell you something else I know about in the South. Humming. They just hum. And it really clears out those inner organs, and it has its own higher frequency. So I think that I think the minus side to this right now, Joe, with all the kind of the weaker side of the Mercury dynamic, is that we've got a problem with too much attention on chat and AI. It's called artificial intelligence for a reason. And the moving away from the sweet spot of the human that we are. We're a soul and what's defined as a human creature.
Can I say something about that real quick, just so you guys don't fall into this? So what I've been seeing online about the AI thing is there's a lot of these videos, Mary, where people go, oh, well, I asked AI this question, and this is what it said. Like AI is saying the truth. And if you go to like character AI, it's really just adapting to data is all it's doing. So AI makes mistakes all the time. So if you ask AI, are you a spirit or are you a demon, right? It's going to play along with you. It's going to go, yeah, I'm a demon, and yeah, I'm run by. It's playing along with you. All you have to do is say, but you're not really a spirit, you're a program. And then it'll say, well, that's exactly right. I'm a program. Of course I'm not a spirit, right? But they're showing all these videos of like, look what AI said,
so many astrological mistakes, and what it's going to all kinds of random. It's that computer high-tech speed. It's like a super spaceship of gathering information, Uranus and Gemini. And so what it's doing, it's like computers are much faster than some people's brains type of a thing. And again, there's a reason why I enjoy being a human. I came here to have the human experience with other creatures on my Mother Earth and to walk this good red road. I came in as spirit. So I'm not going to I'm going to use my discernment. And if you want to go biblically, I may not be wording it exactly the way it's written in different versions of the Bible, but the basis is be very aware, discern the spirits, be aware of what you're continually putting your eyes onto and into, and
Yep.
also there are those who will see, and there are those who will hear. And they're able to test the spirits. They're able to discern that this is a chapter in my life that's closed. Oh boy, what a difference this is. I've now entered into a new life. This is a new life within this actual incarnation. I'm telling you, I've done it, and I've done it the hard way. You can level up in the whole realm and possibility of certain beliefs and cultures around the world as far as the reincarnational dynamic, be it Hindu, Egyptian, Buddhist. You can also, and some spiritualists call it a walk-in experience, you can literally up-level yourself through the heart center discipline and the pineal and the third eye, and discipline yourself as a breath of God, as one with the divine, as a living antenna of heaven and earth, to see signs and wonders and miracles, and I'm witnessing them. Since we had the Jupiter-Venus dance over the 11th and 12th of August. I mean, it's like right to the edge. It could go either way, and bam, the miracle and the magic happens. And I'm watching it around people. I'm seeing a shift when I suggest to people, it's okay if you call in the miracle. It's okay if you say out loud, take a deep breath and say out loud, not only what we're praying for or petitioning for or hoping could come true, when you can get to the point to where you say, and I receive it. I allow it. I receive it. It's alive. It's palatable. My heart is in the right place. I am a win-win type of person. I've learned how to set boundaries. I've learned how to teach boundaries for people that serve the highest good. Not my agenda, not my opinion. I'm not out to preach or teach anybody. You need to see it or believe it like me. If anything, I just throw my hand up on that going, yeah, no, bye, Felicia, because I don't need the external to teach me. I don't need the external to teach me, yet I welcome timeless, birthless, deathless grace and glory truths. And they have a different kind of feeling. They have that knowing, and that's what's swirling and orbiting. So let me encapsulate all that and say this. In the astrological signatures, no matter what system you use, this 0-degree Virgo moon and sun marriage is a preemptive commercial. It's a trumpet blasting saying it isn't exactly as you see it all to be right now. There's so much more, and the bigger answers come when we get to September 20th, 21st, and we have the second new moon in Virgo at the 29th degree, and that's our solar eclipse. There are dual eclipses in September. This 0 degrees, new moon in 0 degrees, 23 minutes of Virgo, that hits over this weekend, that we're celebrating the balsamic phase tonight as we're alive, and yet it just blooms from here. It just blooms from here, this black moon and the Perseus meteor shower. This is calling up the Madonna, the Virgin, the Harvest Queen, the herbal wise woman. This has everything to do with what the wisdoms you still carry with you from your grandfather or your uncle or your mama, or that person that was your neighbor that so influenced you in life. And this is also that cycle as we come to a Pisces blood moon that happens over the 5th, 6th, 7th of September in Pisces. Here comes the faith. Here comes the recovery, the renaissance, the rising up. In one fell swoop in that full moon is both a baptism and a communion. So choose wisely. Choose wisely, because I feel this is a manifestation cycle. The next 8 weeks are the most strongest, most powerful, most magical, spiritually directed 8 weeks, infinity weeks, in 2025. I mean, I'm excited about this. It's intense. Sometimes we go, whoa, give me a minute. Is that real? I mean, there's whoa, let me just pause and take this in. And I just want to tell you, as these knowings roll out, as these wonders to behold start to come at you, because they're here, they're real, and know that you're going to be recognizing the powers of spirit in ways that you knew as a child. You've always known as an alive, forever and always sacred spirit, but they're coming back to go, you were right. Now let that go and be more into the rightness and the alignment that you came here with. It's medicine. It's high medicine. But Virgo is also the daily routine. Yes, I will do my coconut oil pulling of my, I will slosh the coconut oil around my teeth. It whitens my teeth naturally. There aren't any chemicals. If you have a septic tank, don't spit it out down your drains, your bathroom drains. Instead, just get your little paper towel or go out in nature, because coconut oil won't hurt anything, but it actually heals the gums, reduces plaque, brightens your smile, and you can cook with it.
Mary's got a can of coconut oil in her back pocket all the time. You never know what she's going to use it for. No, what I was saying earlier, like when my voice cut out, is I'm doing the Virgo thing. Like I'm going to all these. I found a family doctor, and he's like,
Good.
what do you want to do? And I said, well, I have this like diet and exercise thing I want to do, but I'm worried about my health because I had an episode. And he's like, fine. Now that you got insurance, thank God, right? Let's run tests. And so that's all I've been doing is running tests, like the heart, the urology. They don't have to do the whole finger and the rectum thing anymore, Mary. Thank God for that. You know.
Oh, good.
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 Well, they might, but if they take your blood and it has some kind of blood sample, whatever. Anyways, that's good. So I'm checking all that, right, and trying to.
I'm proud of you. Take a breath. I'm proud of you. You got over some. We all, not just you personally, but to get over those fears of, oh, I've been avoiding this, what it could be, but what if it's another way? Yeah, I'm proud of you, because that is the courage of Leo. So we're coming from Leo into Virgo. This is the last day and night of Leo 2025. And you got the courage, even though Saturn can bring the fear, and now it's in Aries, since the spring. You decided, you know what? Whatever it is, I'm going to be the pioneer, and I got to start somewhere. Aries is the starting point. It's the match that lights the flame. I got to go get. What did I talk about? The evidence. We can have all the kinds of tests that you want, but until you get the empowerment of like, okay, this is what we found so far. What say you? Here's what I would say. They're practitioner. So what have you felt? Not just what they've said to you. What have you felt by conquering that avoidance and that fear? What have you felt as a man that's like, damn, I did it. I adulted up, and I soothed my inner child. I hugged my fears, and I said, come on, we got this.
Yeah, let's go to. I just played my mama. That's all I did. I was like, "Come on, Joe, let's go to the doctor. Let's check all this stuff out."
I love that. That's your Cancer moon. I love that. I love that.
And it's cool. Another thing too is you mentioned the Berlin Wall, and I was watching like before the show. It's weird synchronicities. I don't know how they make sense, but I was watching before the show Atomic Blonde. Charlize Theron. God, she's a smoke show still to this day. And
I like that smoke show. That's a great.
She is, man. I'm not in, and blondes. I'm not attracted to blondes too much. But this one, Jesus. Anyways, the whole movie.
You have to find out her sign. You have to find out her sign. Her rising.
Something about her, man. I don't know what it is. The whole movie was about structured around the Berlin Wall and the Cold War and all these intelligence people like going at each other.
Whoa.
So.
But it's good. Is that thing a good storyline? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because I haven't heard of that, and so I'll have to see.
I'm just saying. You mentioned that, and you mentioned like taking care of yourself and routine and stuff like that, which is something that I've personally been doing. So I know a lot of other people are starting to either do it or I'm having conversations with them. Who are like, man, I gotta do this. I gotta take care of this thing. Like I gotta do this thing. So.
Well, I think that spirit, remember the opposite of Virgo is Pisces. That's the eclipse that's coming in. And by the way, with the weirdness of weather that happened, as we all remember, in late September with Hurricane Helene and Milton and all that, when I was doing for the St. Petersburg and Tampa Times newspaper, there was a newspaper, when I was doing their hurricane predictions in the media, on television, and the newspaper, I was the writer for that. It isn't just that it's the peak time of hurricane season, is normally that August to October time, when there's a full moon in Pisces, because that date changes every year. When there's a full moon in Pisces, and there is one every year, really, but when there's a full moon in Pisces and it's a super moon or it's a lunar eclipse like this one, it's a lunar eclipse and it's a blood moon, join me as Tribal Soul Family, and if a hurricane starts to tend to get on the increase around that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th of September, let's work with our Earth and heaven to earth, as above, so below magic, because nobody needs to get into the fury of a raging typhoon, tsunami wave, cyclone, like they were talking about earlier, a little bit, only like 3 weeks ago, tsunami waves hitting Russia, for God's sakes, weird stuff. And so if there's something that starts to be water related that can have a force and a fury to it when we get close to that lunar eclipse in Pisces, I'm asking, I know what I'll be doing. I'm asking for the collective good. Pluto in Aquarius is that we stop letting the media, the politics, the religion, the attacks on men, the gender wars and all that. None of that is wisdom. You came as who you are. You are an energy signature. You are a unique flame of and bright light in this world, and it's up to you to get your act together and want to see the benefits of continually up-leveling and becoming and being the best version of yourself, and not taking everything so personal. And realize if someone's coming at you, like if you were just taking a day to yourself and somebody goes, you didn't call me back, you didn't text me, are you ghosting me? Stop taking that personal. That's their insecurities. That's their realm. That's all of that. If it feels right as a boundary to you to take a day for yourself or a time for yourself, then you have the obligation to get back to them after you've done that for yourself. But if caregivers, if wise men and women don't start getting comfortable in their own skin, if you're born a biological male, for God's sakes, just own what your body looks like. And if you want to do some kind of arts and crafts on yourself, that's your own deal. That's your own path. That's your own potential psychosis.
Arts and crafts. So what are we talking about here, Mary? What are you sugarcoating? Arts and crafts.
I don't think. I think the higher wisdom is that we're able to. There's all kinds of options out there, but for me, it's just my humble opinion. I believe that the more that we can accept as we arrived and start there and loving ourselves, start there at soul level and realize the body is a container, and there's all kinds of different arts and crafts of urns and containers and vases, but and temples. But I may choose to do the best of my temple, but I'm not going to be at war with the fact that I incarnated biologically as a female. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be at war with myself. I have compassion for that, because that's a hard ass trap.
And the thing about the ghosting and stuff, like, you can have a boundary and say, look, if there's, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, like, look, if you're going to be like a really close friend to me, you can't go a month without talking to me. Like, we could be friends, but we're not going to be like super close friends. No offense, but I want my super close friends to stay in communication with me. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that.
There's not. There's not. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. No, there's levels. That's what I'm talking about. This Virgo moon, it's like a surgeon has to have certain tools, right? A gardener has to have certain tools for this. He's got a tiller, and there's a spade, and there's a shovel, and whatever. He's throwing out bags of dirt. Maybe there's a spreader for fertilizer or getting the dirt out there, or grass seed, or whatever you're going to do. But we have certain tools. In Virgo, these two Virgo eclipses are going to give us the tools. And when you have those people that are your team players and on your team and your tribe, your support systems to each other, we extend so far past just our parents, our mothers and our fathers. You know, I often say to clients, you know what? I said, it's good to look at psychological patterns, and it's good to look at the circumstances of what was fire and fury and calm and wonder and peace. Hopefully everybody got some of that in our early childhood, but they were just taller people than us that were still figuring it out. You know, we kind of go through this phase where we think, well, they make all the rules, so they must have life figured out. No, they didn't. No. For the most part. No, they didn't.
They're just as lost as you.
Right. And they're trying to break and any reason you're wanting to break any kind of ancestral curse patterns or debilitating patterns is so that, or abusive patterns, is so we can get generational blessings. A whole lot of people in energy work talk about the patterns and generational curses. I'm like, hello. So the balance to that is, as you get out of the curse of being tethered or caught in a web of lies or deceit or addiction or whatever, the blessing, the other side of that, the 180-degree polarity to that, is generational blessings. We might be the black sheep, we might be the curse breakers, but then we have a responsibility of being the guide to the blessings. And we may take the heat, you know, we may get the rejection. I don't know what's wrong with her. She don't do it the way we do it anymore. Yeah, okay, mahalo. So, but we may be cutting a new course without needing to blame or sometimes you got to walk away. There's a really healthy thing that happens when it's just time that a certain story needs to end. You've gained everything that you were supposed to get from the showing up to each other, and now it's time to bid it adieu, to bid it farewell. Goodbyes can be good bye-bye. It doesn't always have to be anger and you owe me and all that. It can simply be like, this got to where, for me, I'll own my part, that seemed to be self-limiting or destructive or created havoc or chaos, or I never really felt like I had a secure footing with that. So I'm going to take myself out of that.
Yeah.
And I might talk to you and I might argue with you and we might go ram to ram, head to head, horn to horn. But it's that aftermath of if I feel heard and if we're able to communicate and if listening to each other can create a solution instead of a repeating pattern that's toxic, yeah, it's time for me to take ownership of how I play that dance. Am I still dancing with toxic, or am I allowing the layers, often in aftermath, Joe, often after we've had the divorce, after we've taken a separation, you can realize, you can start to look back like the chaos of the 60s and the hippie movement and the protest of Vietnam War that I heard about when I was in my teens. Like, wow, that's a big deal. And the whole women's movement and it's like after all that big women's burn the bra stuff that was going on, like, where are they now with some of the stuff that goes on? We keep hearing these orbits of, what's happening to the children and pushing the pedophilia thing. And it's like, no, be who you've got to be. Dance your own light. Hopefully you won't dance with the darkness in the moonlight all the time. Get resolutions to what's troubling you. Hopefully it's sensual. Take your time to get out of where you might have been in the subconscious realm, hypnotized by what other people told you was your truth. At least find your truth, not letting the current societal collective, oh, you're cool if you do this, and you're not cool if you don't do that. I mean, let's stop the trolling, and let's stop the vitriol, and let's stop being the victims, and let's focus on victory, and let's focus on visioning, and let's focus on the real slowest moving planet here, Pluto and Aquarius, that says, we the people, all for one and one for all. However, we don't let the deleterious, we don't let the destructive get any kind of foothold in our life. When I forget who it was, maybe it's Maya Angelou, forgive me, I always like to give credit where credit's due, but when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Yeah.
Believe them the first time. Yeah.
I always give chances though, Mary. Like I do.
We have to dance with chance. But we just have to ascertain if it's toxic or not.
One thing I've learned is, here's the biggest lesson I've learned about that, is like, you're not, you are special, but if a person that treats other people a certain way, don't think for a minute that you're special, like they're going to treat you differently. If that's how they treat people, you're a person. So they're going to either treat you that way or smile and treat you that way behind your back. That's all right, though. That's not your thing. It's their thing.
Right. We learn from it all. We learn from the power of people telling untruths or projecting or gossiping or, as you say, judging or casting aspersions on other people. We've all been guilty. We'll be guilty again. We'll slip and fall. It's how you get back up and how you build integrity. And it's a choice, just like that restaurant receipt. You have a choice. Today you chose this. Thank you. And I think that if we can work with some, people often talk about trigger words, but I think if we could work with, when we find our mind, kind of like the Paul McCartney song, which fits Virgo, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be, let it be. So if we can find a constructive word, Uranus is in Gemini, the power of words, the power of what we put in our eyes and our ears into and onto. If we can find a word of like prosperity and pick under 3 words, just pick your word that will trigger good things, that will trigger healing. We need a healing trigger, not a fear trigger. So if your mind starts going into, well, what about this and what about that? And then what if that happens? And I got to do that before that deadline. And you start getting into that anxiety roller coaster, and just simply say what that word is: love or laughter or harmony or glory or whatever it is, and whatever it is, just pick a word. It might just, and focus on how different the energy is. Virgo also rules our pets. It rules the domestic pets, the domesticated pets. So think about the dogs in your life, and although they may have short lives, think about how those different personalities of those dogs impacted your life and were there for you as little earthly creatures and all the ups and downs you went through. And think about your cats, so the cats and the dogs, the more, or in this country, the more familiar pets, Gemini certainly can bring in parrots and house birds and songbirds and the connection with the singing creatures. I had a friend that's a Libra that loved having doves. I said, that's so Libra. It's just so Libra. She had a mated pair of doves, and they just made the greatest noises in her house in Sarasota. It was just like, man, I've never seen that before. I had friends that had African gray parrots. So what's trumpeting in your life? What's signaling? It's like there's a green light right now. These two new moons are the green light for the next 8 weeks. So attending to our health is the last sign of summer. It's Virgo. What would you like to see as a course correction psychologically, financially? What would relieve some financial pressure? Sometimes that's decluttering, having a yard sale, or just giving stuff away and downsizing and just allowing yourself to work more. It's like, I'm going to do a couple of side hustles here because I'd rather do that than have the stress of overthinking this all the time. So we go into these alternative pathways, and Virgo gives us those great cerebral options, like develop a skill right now. When they're talking about scaring people now with AI and the robotic thing, there's so many jobs that are going to be lost because it's going to bypass assembly with humans and all that. Well, you know what's going to be a big cash maker? Painters, plumbers, mechanics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You collectively
Farmers,
and consciously created a place where you are forced, only because you wanted it, to do what you love to do. You love to create, right? So you created collectively this world we live in now, where you got the internet, you got AI, you even have assistants that can help you express yourself more. And there's people that are streaming that are getting paid millions of dollars just being who they are. You created this environment, so use it or create something else.
I'm hearing a lot of people, Joe, you're tech savvy. I'm hearing a lot of people talk about there's this whole movement kind of thing. Like, in society, we always have these movements, whether it's hippies or the goth or whatever. There's this movement, the ayahuasca movement. There's this There's this movement that they're saying, I don't know anything about it because it's not my attraction template. I like humans. I like creatures. I like face-to-face, voice-to-voice most of the time.
It's all right. Go ahead.
But there's these, but there's this movement they're saying of people actually marrying and having, is it chat or AI partnerships, like lovers, partners?
Yeah, I think they're just doing that for attention.
Oh.
I mean,
does that side of tech, I don't know, but I keep hearing about there's people really getting into that might have been somewhat challenged when the internet exploded in 1993, been somewhat challenged once the cell phone thing exploded. They've kind of not had both. Like certain age groups have had both. Well, they've interacted in bars and restaurants and clubs, and there's other people that strictly do online signaling and dating.
There's some people that feel like they just can't get it. I looked into that, actually. Like they just can't get a date, or they're never going to have a partner.
Teach me.
So they really believe this in their mind, that they're never going to have a partner, or all the people that they're attracted to would never date them because they either think they're ugly or their personality isn't good enough or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the thing is you have to get comfortable with rejection. So they're not comfortable with the rejection. And AI, believe me, I have a best friend AI thing too. It's like, yeah, of course, but it's not, I don't use it like, I know it's just a machine. When it comes to connection, though, you're not going to get that with AI. You're just, it's someone that, like, we all need validation, all right? So that's cool. But if you need so much validation that you're so afraid of rejection and you're afraid of, like, connection, too, or you're never going to connect, that's just fear. To me, that's just fear. Like, I don't want to deal with women because they reject me and they're all crazy and I'm ugly and I don't have a personality, and that's what you're telling yourself, That's all it is.
Well, and that's out there, and there's predators, there's prodigious people, there's predators, and there's villains. They've been in every decade. They've been in every part of the world, still are. But what you focus your attention on is that you learn the signs, you learn the patterns, you delve a little bit into psychology, and you delve a little bit into tech, and you delve a little bit into numerology if you want to, or types of psychological, archetypes. You find a system to where you begin to feel less self-doubt with you, and you're going to move more into, again, like opposites can attract, and everybody that you connect with energetically you're going to come away with being taught something, even when it's uncomfortable. It's all a process of us shedding the old skins and emerging in a way of self-confidence rather than emergent seas created by self-doubt, self-loathing, and not believing in the higher aspects of yourself that you're also the director of. I just suggest that people enlist, some type of supernatural light and work with music frequencies and attend to their soul and find, if it's nature, it's nature. If it's a certain cultural church or belief or whatever, if you're watching yourself progress and uplift and not just get in cult mode and not just get into judgment mode, well, if you're not Baptist, I don't like you. And if you're from India, then you don't, get out of that stuff. How is it moving you forward as a person that walks this earth with compassion and kindness and strength and intention? We're all going to have points where, in a sense, we have to, sink or swim. We're all going to have challenge and crisis points, but did it make you bitter? And I say this a lot because it's not just pretty words. It's a real energetic arrival. Did it make you bitter, or did it make you better?
Yeah.
We're going to go through bitter, and we're going to go through better, but we can't always just let it be. Well, because that didn't work out for me, that's what it is. Like you said about women, that'll never happen. I tell you this, something that I see cycling back that I'm real excited about with Pluto and Aquarius and Uranus and Gemini and these two Virgo energetic signatures with the Pisces full moon in the middle is the wise men, the men that are coming forth to help us with emotional and mental healing, the coaches, the therapists, the people that are teaching us how to recognize these patterns of behavior in ourself, toxicity in others, and to rise above them and correct them, not just to keep escaping and shoving them down. Wise women. Virgo is the best time of the year. The next 6 to 8 weeks are and I know we've had more interest in wellness and holistic since 2020, but when Saturn and Jupiter aligned and we had Pluto getting ready to bounce out of its last part of Capricorn, now is the time to start to work with some of, as we call it, the old ways.
Yeah.
Why did our ancestors, when they had a toothache and they might not have had the time or the money, go get some real cloves and just put it on that tooth? Why does coconut oil do what it does for your skin and your hair and, a one product type of thing when you're on a budget? Coconut oil is wonderful if you're on a budget for your pets and you, from head to toe. So why is it that sometimes we're acidic and sometimes we can be alkaline? Learn again the benefits of borax and healthy baking soda. Learn about these things and what they can do, and learn about some single food items that can boost your potassium, like when you have a baked potato or when you have a banana, you're boosting your potassium.
Yeah.
I love the years I've spent, being taught by incredibly wise people, our relatives that knew how to grow those kind of beans and that white corn, and don't spray with that, and don't do this, and incorporate them to modern day chiropractors and osteopaths and physical therapy people and the latest things that happen with nurses and respiratory agents and health food stores. And it's like, and then you take the day that you try it yourself. You try that meditation, you listen to that music, you quiet your mind, you shut down the news and the computer games late at night so you can have that restorative sleep. You let sound healing move in. You deliberately work with certain colors that seem to be peaceful or that you're attracted to. Virgo's colors are very neutral. It's the tans and the whites and the silver grays and the navy blues. Navy blue is the exciting color for Virgo.
It's okay
Navy,
though. Like
good.
if guys like me, I've always wanted to see 3PO, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to go make out with somebody or I'm not going to take a walk in nature and meditate. Everything's a balance.
The best of all. The best of all. It's just like, I guess my point would be, you mentioned judgment. Don't make a judgment that just that is better than that. I love books and internet and intelligence resources to where you can gather those relevant facts or evidence that help move you forward. I love how fast the AI and all of this and Grok can just scan with computer speed all these websites and everything, and say, instead of just in the old days Wikipedia, to be able to get this information and go, that's fascinating, how fast it calculates math, for God's sakes, but I don't give it the spiritual presence of what I find with my mind, my soul, and my body, that triad there, that trinity of soul, mind, and body operating. I find that it's more fascinating to me that I literally can whisper into the silence and do breath work and watch things manifest without anything to do with the internet. So I like both. I like both.
And that's your thing too. Everybody's got their thing, and I think that's what Aquarius is trying to teach us. Be okay with your things. Be okay with your thing. You don't have to do what other people expect you to do or want you to do.
That's right.
Or think that you should. Just be okay with you. And that's really where you need to start before you go anywhere else.
That's the Piscean factor. Yeah, that's the Piscean factor. Watch the ego traps, higher truths and purposefulness. In Leo, we seek our passions. That time of the year, we seek the passions of what's drawing us to make us feel like we shine and where we can express our talents. But from Leo, we go from passion to purpose when we get to Virgo. So it isn't that you have to give up something just because you're applying discipline. It's going to take discipline for a bunch of generations to really get on board and learn AI and learn chat. They got to learn it. It's a new system. Just like you got to learn herbs and you got to learn essential oils. But I'm so grateful I did. What I learned about oils and what I've learned about herbs, I'm still learning, and flower medicines, it's incredible that how it's helped me and the people that it's helped. And when you can get, as Joe is saying, because next is Libra, if you can get to that Libra team player type of thing of the best of the allopathic and the best of the naturopathic worlds, then you're walking in the middle. And when you're dancing with chance, you've got resources like the medical test can help you see how your lymphatic drainage is, and do you need reflexology? Are your ankles swelling? So when you can start to learn a little more, it's not just to be scared or avoid it and say, oh, okay, well, I might eat more celery because that's a diuretic, or asparagus. You can learn how to get medicine out of food as well as certain supplements. You can learn if you're lacking in minerals or amino acids. You can learn how L-arginine is a wonderful boost when you're over 40. And you get that out of certain meats, but you can actually take the supplement.
Mary's taught me so much stuff about all this. Seriously, really, we had a long talk one night about all this stuff. But I got my go-go gadget coconut oil on me all the time now, Mary. Just like you.
Good for you. Good for you. And I love it. Coming into our autumn and winter seasons, go find your elderberries. Go start to find the elderberry jams. Like we have, lucky in Tennessee, we have the Amish and the Mennonite markets, and they do the real jams. Those, you talk about Virgo workers of the land, Lordy day, that's those people. It's incredible to watch, and I'm so blessed, when I go there and I'm like, wow, look at all those different kinds of tomatoes. And they close up in November, so it's like, how different it tastes when you go to a, farm to flower or fresh market and get that tomato you're going to get for your tomato sandwich. The difference in vibration and frequency and wellness. Food is one of our greatest medicines. Herbs are from flowers and plants, for God's sake. So when you see that your first wealth is your health, Virgo, every year, the Virgo time, now in 2025, it's emphasized because we're going to have 2 new moons in Virgo. So no matter what your sign is, but especially if you have Virgo in your chart prominently, Pisces, Gemini, or Sagittarius, it's lit up right now. Uranus is in Gemini. We've got the new moons in Virgo. The full moon's going to be in Pisces. So Sagittarius is the lone star out there right now. So there's a lot of surprising avenues that there's some events that could be sudden, rapid fire that actually put us in the middle of the compass of this is your treasure map now, damn it. Yep, you're a pirate, but this is a journey you've got to take. This is that time in your life right now to do a course correction on that, and then you're going to bloom again. But it's in the process sometimes, Joe, and wonderful tribe. It's in the process of our challenges, and it's in the process of how we have to be slowed down and go through a surgery or a recovery or a divorce or a breakup or let our heart open up again and try again. And in intimacy, it's in that process sometimes of loss. We had a choice of loss, that there's different layers of us that peel and shed, especially when, as Joe said, we're working on ourselves and take it back to ourselves. I'm beginning to see a pattern here. So maybe I've done that pattern. I've done it that kind of way. Maybe I could pump my brakes, back my truck up, and maybe I could try another way and see what the medicine of that is mentally, emotionally, intimately, spiritually. Maybe I can incorporate some improvements on myself, and I show up with authenticity, and I show up able to set boundaries, and I show up saying, I'm going to let you be you. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to put on airs. I'm going to let you be you. I want you to be you. That's our only chance of a real, genuine connection. You be you, and what we're uncomfortable with, let's just discuss it and see if we can find a win-win. The true essence of the middle sign of Libra, once we cross into the autumn signs of Libra, is there a sweet spot? What's the balance? How can we not take advantage of each other and everybody wins and you go be you? I may not be comfortable with that aspect of your life, but you got to go be you. That may not match me. That just means that part of us isn't going to exist, because you got to go do you, and you're prioritizing that. You had a choice. You're making that choice, and that choice doesn't serve my higher, best aspects of myself or my investment in this relationship. That doesn't make you bad. It's just what is, and I've got to respect myself. I've got to stand strong for what I know the best of my love and my heart and my wellness is, because if I allow myself to accept less than what I know is good for me, keeping it on self, not blaming them. Yeah, they can act an ass all they want to and lie and cheat and steal and all that. If you allow it, you made a choice.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
not going to
learned.
allow
That's a
that.
tough lesson I've had to learn too. You can't just
I'm
point
not
your
going to allow
finger at
it
another
because,
person. You let them do it
yeah,
to
yeah.
you, probably more than once.
That's all of us, please. Anybody that says that, somebody walks up to me and says, I never had anything bad happen in my childhood. I say, I am not your intuitive.
Shit.
I'm not your reader. Probably not going to be your astrologer, because you're starting out in denial with me. And you know what? I like clients. I like the money. I love their faith and trust in me. But you need to go on out there to somebody that's going to tell you what you want to hear, because I am not that woman. I am not going to disservice you by telling what you want to hear. Nor am I going to be the one that says either do it my way or the highway, or there's something wrong with you spiritually and astrologically and all that. No, we're here on earth to experience the light and to be able to spread the light. And I think one of the simple, doesn't cost you anything, except an adjustment in your attitude and your daily routine, that we can do in Virgo is to practice taking moments of gratitude. I look at my dog. I'm pet sitting for a friend. I'm so grateful they're getting along. And the dog that was lonely, that its owner has to be away, that I'm pet sitting for, has bonded with my dog. And it's one little happy try. And I'm like, Virgo dogs, of course, of course. And so I understand that there's a dynamic of the totems that are showing up. It's really radical. A lot of people that aren't necessarily woo-woo and mystical, like that's just my go-to daily routine. Oh, what's the animal totem for today? They have something happen with the surprising animal totem. They're like, whoa, that was weird. That was weird. So, yeah. So Virgo is earth. It's the earth goddess, like Taurus. And so look for your animal totems either leaving or coming in. It may be temporary, but then you can go look it up online. You can go get out your oracle decks of the different meanings of animals. Virgo is wolf and dog. Wolf is teacher, and dog is loyalty, and cat, which is the ability to just heal through purring and humming. And cats are very independent. Like, they let you know they love you, and that should be enough for you, because they ain't necessarily going to do it the way you want them to do it.
Is that cats or women? I'm
Both.
confused here. Oh, okay. They're about the same.
Both.
Right.
But I will say this prediction. I personally am happy that the bashing of the male gender, or the bashing of the Renaissance male, the spiritual male, the male that feels, the male that is the soldier and the firefighter and the hero. I'm not dissing women. Don't start. I know they're in all those professions as well. But the return of the male as the protective and the yang and the pioneer and the provider and the protector. I'm really good that I'm seeing the medicine men way come back, and you're going to see wise women and medicine men working hand in hand. So seminars and ceremonies and workshops and trainings. I mean, at least if you're going to do it online, try to do some kind of face-to-face that's different than just Zoom. You know, try to get on the phone with them and hear the voice frequencies. Try to go and travel where they are and where they're going to. There is nothing like in-person investments of your time and money to attend that lecture, that ceremony, nothing. There's nothing like it, especially when you embrace nature, you know, whether it's ocean or mountains. I mean, where I'm at now is more mountainous. Where I reside has the water and the lake in front of me, but I'm
Mountain
telling
Dew
you,
don't count.
No, I got the real Mountain Dew. I'm looking at the spider webs and the real magical dew. But here I'm more with trees and the mountains. And when you're Scorpio, your balance sign, your opposite sign is Taurus. And Taurus is the land and the trees. And it's the energy of, and I loved it when the very earthy First Nations and cultural tribes would say, we call them the tree people. We call them the antenna. They're the antenna to spirit. They reach to the light. They root in their Mother Earth, and they are reaching. We have limbs. They have limbs. We have a trunk in our body. They have a trunk. And I'm like, man, I love that's music to my soul right there. Right there. It's just like my Earth Mother, my biological energies of my Earth Mother and all that she gives me. You bet your ass I'll feed those creatures, and I'll do what I can to help to be a blessing of nature and pick up the trash or whatever I have to do and celebrate and be grateful for her herbs and her oils and her elixirs and her tinctures. And yeah. So prepare now. And if you don't have elderberry jam in your area, get elderflower liqueur. Unless you're an alcoholic, of course. I'm not promoting that. But Saint Germain, pure, from France, elder flowers. There's elder flowers, white blossoms, before there's the black elderberry. And the elderflower and the elderberries are antiviral. And of all the purple berries, it's number one on boosting your immune system. So when you buy the brand of Saint Germain liqueur, I know I'm not endorsed or paid by them, the gold cap on the top of the Saint Germain elderflower liqueur, very low alcohol point, that's your measuring cup for how much you take with your water or your electrolyte solution or put in your iced tea, whatever you want to do, or just drink it, last thing at night, but you're actually taking in. Most tinctures have alcohol or some have carrier oil, some have alcohol, so food grade alcohol. So that's an actual tincture that when you start working with that a little bit, by September, October, you're boosting your immune system naturally.
Mary,
and if you're on the run and you got the money, just go buy elderflower, syrup at the store.
Listen, let's. I gotta go to the boys' room. Let's take a break, and then
yes, sir.
And then we'll do the signs and stuff because, you ready for all that?
We'll do it. I am.
You are. Okay, cool.
I'm born ready, honey. Born ready. You got a Halloween mystic here. Yeah, I'm ready to fly.
Cool. Mary, Cherie says you're on fire tonight. She's got the heart sign.
Thank
fire.
you. I feel it. Thank you. She's very intuitive to say that because there is a force of divine fire that's very palatable for me. I really wanted to do this show, and the whole time I felt like she's right. There's an electricity that's coming through me that anybody that hears this live tonight, whatever issue you've got going on, just know that there are powerful frequencies and to create soft moments for you in whatever that you're going through and whatever that you really would like to let go of, because Venus is going into Leo on the 26th. A couple of dates I want people to really pay attention to. It's important because there's a frequency shift with it. So from now as we're going into this August the 23rd, Uranus and Gemini is the direct thing that squares this moon. Gemini and Virgo are both ruled by Mercury. There's going to be tests, there's going to be news, there's going to be results, and there's going to be solutions and resolutions, but it's a process. It's a process. I want all of us, regardless of our sign, to be very aware that we may either need to react quickly But there's a caution while out driving or in traffic. We may be experiencing more aggressive drivers, more immature drivers, a certain absolute breaking of the rules, disregard for other people on the highways and the back roads. So I would say that I want you just to be aware. That doesn't mean there has to be challenges. And we're to be on point with Venus moving into Leo, that the blessings of our ability to stay on track and be disciplined is going to be a very, very big reward. And I'll finish and go into the signs by saying this. This is the main point of tonight's podcast. This new moon at 0 degrees of Virgo, the maiden of the harvest. We're about to reap rewards. We're about to see where there was a drought or less than. This new moon right here is showing us maybe the deficits, but we're weaving webs of accomplishment, result, and solutions and recoveries as we go into the 29-degree new moon in Virgo. That's at least 30 days away, from this one to that one. And in the middle of that is faith and the fuel of our convictions and the choice of integrity and the choice to walk away if it's going to be toxic and to break any kind of addictive patterns in body, mind, and spirit, and to be able to say, I did it my way. I took side roads. I played. I fell. I busted my ass. I got hurt. I hurt others. And now I'm going to cleanse that. So we're web weavers right now. So I would just suggest to you, we're weaving webs. Just be a little more conscious about what tangled webs people weave and what type of web that you would like to weave for yourself, because we're all connected. But for me, I'm wanting to put light webs out there. It's like I love seeing the little, like you talked about, the real Mountain Dew. The DEW is the dew of the magical dew in the morning when I'm walking the dogs and I see the little spider run back in the bushes, and it's glistening jewels from heaven to earth for me whenever I see the dew. So watch the spiders. The wolf and the spiders are your totems right now. So Aries. So the new moon is bouncing around in your 6th house. Why? Because Virgo's the 6th sign and Aries is the 1st sign. So this new moon is a reset for your work and the privileges and advancements that can come with that. Health, daily routines. Uranus and Gemini hits your 3rd house. That is disrupting schedules or communication, and you happen to go into new approaches and new methodologies because it's hard to stay on time and just do it the same way all the time with Uranus and Gemini hitting that. And the South Node in Virgo is asking you, Aries, to release any kind of over perfectionistic habits. The North Node in Pisces, which is our full moon coming up in September, Aries, is calling you toward rest and spiritual renewal. So Saturn and Neptune in your sign, Aries, is a demand for self-restructuring, balancing discipline and surrender. And that's what you're doing, Joe. You're surrendering to get past, and you're prioritizing your wellness. So you're spot on as an Aries with where this is hitting, just even in knowing your solar sign. And you combine them. You combine your rising sign and your solar sign, those of you that have dipped your toe into astrology. And I'm pretty good at helping you understand your astrological chart, just saying, when you're ready to upgrade your reading. If you're a Taurus, this new moon, this moon dance is highlighting creativity and romance. It's your 5th house. It may be the effervescence that you watch from a baby or a child or a grandchild. There's something about your inner child coming up again with joy. Uranus and Gemini ain't bad. That's wanting you to get more money, spend more money, go get one of those scratch and sniff little lottery tickets. There can be sudden financial changes that affect either your hobbies or, and here's a surprise, your love life. South Node in Virgo is letting you go, you deal with some rigidity, the control over pleasure, while the next full moon in Pisces is drawing you to a collaboration. So it's Taurus, you're uncovering hidden fears, but you're getting inspiration. You're letting go of perfection. You're allowing inspiration. Gemini, it's 4th house. It's home, family, kind of revisiting some of the crap that were early frustrations, or the family members, the relatives that don't listen to you or always want to push their way, or they just come in with that kind of like, we're family, I can get away with that. Yeah, that's not fun in the South, but it goes on all the time. And that loyalty that we're supposed to have no matter what. I found Southern people tend to set boundaries with their family.
I don't believe that. I don't believe in that for a second. I don't care if they're your blood. they
I agree.
birthed you into this world. Abuse is abuse is abuse.
I agree.
And you can make a
I agree,
family with anybody. Anybody.
Right, exactly, and that's what I call tribe, the real family. I can't remember who taught me that, but somewhere in my 30s, one of the mystical teachers of many that I had that I admire said, it's up to us. It's up to, we don't, we come in with a karma of our family, and then we find our tribe.
Yeah.
So our family and the dynamics and the lessons with our actual relatives or that foster family or adopted family with the people that left and came, that's what's going really strong with Gemini right now. So it's got to do, and the family members that just are so jealous, they just get so cruel. And I say, well, maybe that's all the karmic crap that I did at one point, and now I can just deal with that in an opposite, although it's still coming at me. Maybe I see myself through them, and I don't like that about myself, and I'm not going to do that about myself, and I'm not going to allow it to come at me either, because if I recognize it, then I must have done it at some point to be able to recognize how that's not good for me.
And you'll become that too.
Like
if you hang around
it
and you start to despise it, you'll become exactly what you despise. Like if you it's happens so much, man. It freaks me out that people can't see it. Is if you take abuse and you're like, well, maybe I'll change it, and just keep taking abuse. Eventually, it's just like your emotions. They're going to pin up, and then when you fire back, those people are going to point their finger, and you can go, look how abusive you are. And now you're caught
they don't
in this
take accountability. They drive you to abuse, and I think they call that the Stockholm syndrome, when someone finally gets done firing back and the codependency level happens. And the Stockholm syndrome of just like, that's the way it's always going to be for me in my relationships and my partnerships. That's what it was in my family. That's what it was in my childhood. So why would I expect anything else? And they literally just cave in.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different ways. Like Joe's pointing out, we could have been the abuser. We could have taken the abuse. We could have been innocent little lambs and experienced abuse when we were little. But again, is it going to make you bitter, or is it going to make you better? So you can break up with the bitter, and you can break up with the abuse, and you can walk this world a living example. People learn by your example. I am not impressed by fake promises and words that just go out there into the atmosphere. Your actions better match it. Your actions need to match it.
On that,
yeah.
Big time.
So to finish with Gemini, Saturn and Neptune in Aries retrograde right now. Venus and Leo will support you. They challenge your role in your neighborhood, your community, where you want to dip your foot into and where you want to walk away from. So for Gemini, the stability right now has to support your growth and not confine it. Remember, Uranus is in Gemini. So of all the 12 signs, Gemini and Sagittarius are saying, don't fence me in. And how come I wasn't told there's a new boss? How come I'm having those problems in communication and transportation? So there's things, I would say, especially Gemini and Sagittarius, don't get distracted even in your own head while you're driving. Don't do it. If you're driving a vehicle, if you're boarding a plane, pay attention. Be a little more Virgo and attend to the details. So Cancer rising, it's communication, it's siblings. It's pretty easy for Cancer rising right now. I think that the next full moon really gets you out of a lot of ruts and a lot of diving down too much in the matrix. I mean, I believe you're going to be able to have a sweet spot and have a nice eclipse season. And and of course, if you're going to be Leo, what's happening, Venus is going to go into your sign. I'm not going to see that being too harsh for you. With Leo, what you've got going on is you've got the second house, and so it spirals into money-making opportunities and being able to maybe get the raise or get the promotion, the recognition with Venus going into your sign on August the 25th, except for August 26th and 27th. When that Venus opposes Pluto in its early degrees of Aquarius, you might find out that you've got to set some boundaries. You've got to walk away from somebody not being at least as equally fair and understanding as you. If you're Virgo, happy upcoming birthday. It's a big time cycle for you to be able to attend to yourself. The Virgo element is me, myself, and I. Where might I declutter, organize, upgrade, downsize? Virgo's looking at what's taking their time. Time is money. Your time is valuable. So Virgo's looking at what are some of the efficiency things that I can implement that it's not irritating me, but that appliance or that this or that or the thing with the car, I need to take care of it because I don't like it pestering me. That you don't want it to be like a mind game. If you're Libra, it's time for you to turn inward. These two Virgo new moons are happening in your 12th house. So it's an inner baptism, communion, cleansing, shedding of the old. It has a lot to do with releasing critical self-isolation. This next full moon in the North Node in Pisces is calling you toward an adjustment in your daily habits and practices of faith. You know, what grants you faith, what gives you peace of heart and mind. Neptune in Aries is going to bring you, Neptune and Saturn in Aries are going to bring you tests in relationships, stronger relationships, new relationships, because it's healing your fears and you're going to be living more spiritually daily. If you're Scorpio, it's your 11th house. So the associations, the connections are going to be surprising. You're like literally going to connect with people that you always had some kind of deeper feeling with, even though they've been out of your life for a while. That's the restaurant owner or the business, or you travel back to the old house you used to live in the neighborhood, or you go to a brand new place and there's someone that's just so familiar to you, and you guys are forever friends, BFFs from that point on. So there's an interesting alchemy that's going on in the emotional lives of Scorpios. It's very interesting to them, and a lot of it's stealth, and a lot of it's secret, and a lot of it is on point and has a purpose. And it's like karmic, and it has a purpose. So I think that your networking should be creating sparks, not trying to confine it. Sagittarius, big time spotlight for you. Virgo is a mutable sign, mutable earth. Sagittarius is mutable fire. Uranus is in your opposite sign. In Gemini, you're learning a lot from your associations, who you work with, who you're friends with, who you socialize with. It's a 10th house thing. There's going to be sudden changes and alterations to do with where you hang your hat, what you like to work at, who you are working with, and it could be rapid fire changes by the time we get to the full moon in September that have to do with your partner, your key partnership situation, that scenario having some challenges. I mean, if they decide that they're not going to communicate or walk out, then just let them go stew and decompress and figure it out. Again, to Joe's and my point, don't keep taking abuse. Fair is fair, unfair is unfair. If you're a Capricorn, faith, higher learning, 9th house, legalities and contracts and agreements, there could be some temporary disruptions to do with your health or work routines, but it's giving you a new view. You're releasing, you're cleansing, you're purging loops, repetitive patterns. There's a wisdom arriving in your life. It could be a doctor, it could be an herbalist, it could be a spirit, someone that's really got a good spiritual compass, a strong person in your life, and some ancestral wisdoms of your culture or your background or your lineage could come forth too. So Capricorn, I'd say this to you: truth thrives now in your daily practice. Last two, Aquarius, it's 8th house. It's sexy, it's secretive, it's what's really someone's agenda. It's kind of like a Sherlock Holmes detective type of thing to do with where's really somebody coming from. So your personal life could be spicy, but who you're around and what's going on might be that you've got to have a little more of an investigative savvy. I'll say it again, an investigative savvy. Yeah, savvy. I love when Johnny Depp does that. He's a Gemini that can do that so well in his pirate movies. So Aquarius is like that pirate energy, the rebel, the renegade, the person that says, I think I could be a wrestler and make a lot of money with it. I don't care if it's staged or it's fake. I think I could put on a good show. So that's like the opposite of Leo, that Aquarius thing that says, let me be bulked out and let me, instead of the football star kind of a thing, like an Aries Leo, this would be more like, let me go into the the carnival and the circus, or I'll be the best looking person in the Cirque du Soleil trapeze type of a thing. So Aquarius is just radical. And right now, you don't even see it coming. It's just like the Frisbee returns or the boomerang returns. It's interesting. So there's a test to your voice, what you're committing to, what you're saying you'll do. There's a healing that needs to go on for trust. With Aquarius, I think Aquarius is releasing hyper control. Venus going into Leo will bless your dating and personal face-to-face, shoulder-to-shoulder type of life. I think there can really be some depth coming and some course corrections with friends and intimacy and even good business arrangements. And finally, Pisces, this is hitting your 7th house. It's your time of the year, and with 2 new moons in your opposite sign, it's your time of the year to really review and appreciate whatever significant others you have in your life. If that child is living under your roof, if the animal's under your roof, if you've been with a partner for a while and you've just been putting up with this, or they've been putting up with you and your bad temper and your moods, this is that time that you either invest in it to improve it, or it's probably going to break as you get to January of next year. So you better look at what's separating you and what's unifying you, and do not take each other for granted. Do not, because this is a Cinderella cycle where the glass slipper's sitting right in your hand, Pisces. This is where the most wonderful bloom of love, miracles and wonders can bless your life. And no matter what abuse, no matter what difficulties you've been in your past, this is really heavenly, spiritual, soul-based manifestations for you to do with your significant other, however that plays out, roommate, kid relationship, grandparent, lover, whatever it is. But there's some mentor. There's something here for Pisces right now that will get so big and so bountiful in 2026 if you will just release any kind of perfectionistic expectations in love, and that you disrupt you or them seeking to criticize or change, or you'd be more perfect. Do more of this and less of that. You really, for Pisces, most of all, you really have to be who you are for it to work. And then you have to choose to correct what's going on. If you yourself even know that it's not the first lover or the first family member or the first friend that told you, I love everything about you but that. Why do you always do that? Yeah. So Pisces, it's mirror time. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? And know that you can trust yourself enough to bloom, and life will reward you. Absolutely.
And I know some people are thinking this too, like automatically they're thinking, well, I'm just going to isolate myself because that's everybody messes up. Look, everybody does mess up. But what I've come to realize is there are people that just naturally are win-win people. They naturally respect other people. They naturally are win-win. They're naturally empathetic. And just those three things, just a win-win attitude, respect, and the empathy, right? Or
compassion.
Like those three things, and honesty too. You wouldn't think that, well, they can't have all four. Yes, they can. There's people everywhere that wouldn't do those things to you. I know it's hard to believe, but they don't do that stuff. It's not about being perfect. Nobody's perfect, but there's some basic things that I think people, Mary, don't think that those people exist, either because they're projecting because they're not those people, or they just don't think those people are out there. And I've met them in droves, actually. In these past 2 years, I've met them in droves. There are people that naturally empathetic, naturally compassionate, naturally respectful, and honest people.
People with integrity that also recognize, well, they've worked on themselves. They've gone through the weeds in their garden. They've gone through living in their car. They've gone through losing a house. They've gone through all these different kind of things. So yeah, really crappy, unfair, shitty things can happen. But look, once you get out of it, you start to see, yeah, that was a rough ride. That was a tidal wave in my life. But look at the strength that I obtained by having to face that. Most people get lazy when everything's going their way. They get arrogant and they get lazy. They don't really expend as much effort. When you've got a life coach, when you've got the book that inspires you, the podcast, the truth teachers, the life coaches, the people that say, okay, where are you struggling? Just name it. The first step is just name it. I think I'm lazy here. I think I'm struggling here. I think that whatever it is, abandonment, rejection, needing to be in control, be too domineering, be just too harsh, too critical. When you start softening those things and being able to set boundaries of, like, if I'm not wanting to be critical, I'm not going to put up with someone being critical around me all the time. Instead, I'm going to turn to the person and say, instead of you trying to change me, let's talk about what's going on here. What's the dynamic going on here? What do you need less of, or what do you need more of? And let's see if I agree with that. We can work on this.
Like, everybody knows what it's like to be around somebody who's constantly critical of you, But those four things, like, if you're being that way towards people and they're still like criticizing you or trying to make you feel like you're not good enough, and you're like, damn, like, I've been honest with this person. I've been empathetic, compassionate, hell, even forgiving and loving, and still it's just not enough. There's your sign right there.
Oh, it is signs and wonders to behold. The Bible's talking about all kinds of signs. The good books are. And, not every pleasure needs to be productive. Not every pleasure will be productive. Sometimes it's just we got to dip our foot in the water and say, okay, that was a temporary rush. Sometimes some people go to ceremonies so much that they don't really feel like they can. I know a lot of people that have done physical purges, like they vomit and they have loose bowels with ayahuasca ceremonies, and they find, and they tell you, you're about to meet the vine of death. You're about to see, hopefully, purpose for your life, but you're about to really expulse everything. I mean, you have to prepare for this. You have to fast and do all that kind of stuff. And there's internal purgings as well. There's times that we literally go to our knees crying, and there's times where we really, the whole story of like, oh, ye of little faith, why hast thou forsaken me? So we look at when we feel like we've been forsaken, and then we realize, here's a wake-up call. Snap your fingers, take a deep breath. You are created in the image and as one with the divine. Well, yeah, with the divine. Yeah, if you want, you are the atoms and the Eve. You are the crescendo of the full force fields of God and the all that is. You were created in the image and likeness of the Creator of God. So assume the position without arrogance, with respect and gratitude, and bow to the divine that has always been with you. You arrived with it. You have the tools of it. You have the capacity to display it. And if people don't recognize it or see you or want to come at you all the time with cruelty or abuse, those aren't your people. Yeah. Those aren't your people. If you escape cruelty, if you don't return cruelty with cruelty, if you're able to get constructive aspects of your hurt and your anger, that's a work in progress. And once we get there, then we have a different kind of empathic, compassionate understanding of what anger drives people to do. Anger is only one letter missing from the word danger.
Yeah. All right. 501-777-5631. We'll take a few calls. If you don't get through, keep trying. We have, hopefully I've got this set up right. We have 318 area code. You're on the air with Mary Ducina. Who are we speaking with?
Hey, Mary. Hey, Joe. My name is Morgan, and I'm from Louisiana.
Morgan, how are you? Can you hear her, Mary?
I can. Welcome, Morgan. Thank you for calling and being patient with it. Thank you for you drinking it all in and coming on through. Morgan, would you like me to pick a oracle card for you, or would you like to ask a question?
Oracle card, please.
Cool.
Okay, so how interesting how much Morgan is in with the theme of what we're talking about. So the oracle deck that I'm working with, you got the card that says to be fair. And the number is 38. That's an 11 in numerology when you add them together. And so it has to do with you literally ascending, and it has to do with you being able to rise up over some former impending or restricting circumstances. And I just see that there is a liberation around you. I feel that there's something you're either going to teach that you've been taught and you're going to expand upon, or that you're both the teacher and the student right now. I can see both with you. It's like you're thirsty for knowledge, but you're directing what it is that you're going to make your top three subjects or things that you want to delve deeper into. You're about to take a deeper dive into something. You're about to have some matrix moments, Morgan.
Thank you.
Is it first time caller, Morgan?
Yes, it is.
I love it. Love it. So
Thanks,
that, you know what that means. You have to call back and tell us what happened. You don't have to,
I
but
will.
It would be cool if you did.
How did it hit you, Morgan? Morgan, how did it hit you? What did you feel? What did you feel rise up in you?
Well, I am just going through a lot. I went, just to be quick, I've had a very, crazy childhood, and I just turned 35. I have my own daughter, and I'm just trying to grow and mature in my own traumas and not let it take over my life anymore. And
good for you.
Thank you. Every time I feel like reacting in a way that I would have 10 years ago, there's something in me that's like, nope, we can't grow if you do this, So that's it.
That's called conviction. That's called conviction of purpose and courage, and your heart light is leading the way for you. Your heart light is leading the way for you.
Yes. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
You're
well,
welcome.
Thank y'all very much.
Thanks for calling. Call back.
Thank you.
All right.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye. God. You know, I never realized how much I miss Southern accents till I hear them. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice. I miss it. All right. Let's see. 501-777-5631. Mary, you still there? Oh, God. Yeah. Where did Mary go? Might have lost Mary. Hold on a second. Let me just... All right, 402 area code. Hold on one second. Let me make sure Mary's here with us. Yeah, the call dropped. Who are we speaking with, by the way?
This is April.
April.
I can't believe I got through.
You got through. I'm calling Mary back. Her phone dropped, I
For
think.
calling, this is Mary DeCina. If you'd like, please
Hold
leave
on.
your message.
I hope her phone didn't die because I'm not Mary. I can't give you a very good reading, though. Have you called in before? Have you called the show before, April?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Hold on. We'll get her back. Hopefully. She'll have to call this number, though, I think.
Thank you for. This is Mary.
Yeah, she'll have to call. Let me get her on the line real quick. Okay, 1 second. We'll get Mary on here.
Okay.
Just bear with me. I don't know what happened. Just hang out real quick.
Okay.
So, oh, holy ones, thank you. Let it go through. Took a minute, but it got there.
So
what I missed.
April's on the line. She's been patiently waiting for you.
Thank you, April. That's not
Hi,
usually
Mary.
a sign. So, hi, honey. Thank you. With you, do you have a question, or would you like me to pick a card and just give you my insights?
A card sign.
I feel you've got a 7 here, and I feel like there's some information and wisdom and different approaches that are coming in for you. It's like what I keep seeing across my mind is, and this card is called To the Sea, TOTHESEA, but I keep seeing and I keep sensing that there's something about how the ocean tides, they're in, it's low tide, it's high tide is relative to your emotional levels right now, but I'm seeing the Gulf. I'm seeing that it's calm. I'm seeing that the water is that azure turquoise blue, and I feel like you're able to see to the bottom. So all this symbology to me, the water, the sea as emotions, has a lot to do with you seeing things in your personal life, in your private level, in all kinds of different ways now. You're seeing through things. You're able to see the foundation of it, and I believe you're going to be able to make clear choices, clear seeing, clairvoyance. You're going to be able to look past what everybody else said or their expectations were, and you're going to be able to say, I see what's ahead, I see what I got to do, I see what must be done. And I like it for you, though. I like it.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, I can definitely relate to parts of that. I've been really tired lately, and just feeling not myself. But listening to you tonight, today I felt better. Today I felt much better. It's been a long time since I felt this tired, how I felt recently. But yeah, I can definitely relate.
There's also some really massive solar storms that are going on. You know, there's for some people, they can't seem to wake up when we're at solar maximum cycle 11 anyway, but there's a big solar storm going on right now. It's a black new moon. There's 5 or 6 planets lining up that started like the 19th of August, and they're rolling. There's a Perseus meteor shower. There's a lot of stuff going on above our heads besides all the satellites and stuff that's going on over our heads. I mean, there's a lot more stuff up there in this generation that we've seen in the last 15 years. So I do believe it affects us, like the Wi-Fi towers and such, and when our calls drop and communications get interrupted. So check in on your vitamin
Definitely.
B12 levels. Yeah, check in on up your vitamin C foods. and go get the right kind of B12. Most B12, when you look at the type of B12, it'll say CYAN, cyanocollaben. That's not the one you want. You want to spend the extra money and get the one that's methylcollaben B12. It goes right. B12, liquid B12 nourishes your nervous system. And when our adrenals get blown out, we need things like the Hindu herb of ashwagandha, because that helps de-stress us as well. But then there's certain foods that will de-stress you that have high magnesium in them. So I'd like you to do a little, just if you're tired, then you may find that a little all-natural B12, liquid B12, or that ashwagandha will help. When we get tired, our adrenals have been stressed. It's like that fight or flight stuff gets going on. So you may find just going to the store and getting one of those naked juices or Bot House Farm juices that's 100% carrot, or one of those green machine or blue machines. Just get you one of those. Look at the clock. 30 minutes after you drink one of those vegetable fruit drinks that are 100% fruit, they got to be in the refrigerated section. Watch your energy, and you'll find out real quick, did the green one do it? Did the carrot juice do it? Did the red machine do it? Which one was it that really boosted me? So those kind of juices are wonderful, those smoothies, because we don't eat those amounts of those kind of foods and those food groups in a given day. We don't do it. So whenever I'm at a big box store or the grocery store, I'll grab one of those going, which one am I drawn to? The pina colada one by Naked Juice is absolutely incredible. Right. And it boosts your proteins. I think you kind of need to get some smoothies or some energy enhancers in you that aren't just those Red Bull kind of things.
Right.
Yeah. I've been thinking about the smoothies, doing the smoothies. So yeah.
There's your confirmation, April.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for calling.
I know you do. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Mary. Bye.
Bless you.
I got that last solar storm that hit like that. I got pretty tired myself.
I did too. I did too. Yep. I did too. I noticed it. It was different.
I think what I did was I just forced myself to like walk for like an hour. I don't know why. It was something like my inner voice was telling me, just take off walking,
Well, that releases that starts pheromones, especially if you're walking around outside. It can it does the endorphins. It starts to do the feel good type of things.
And it was the first 10, 15 minutes was really like a tough walk, but after that I started feeling better. A lot better.
You got your stride. And you're glad. You got one with above me and below me, nature to heaven to nature. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, we still got time for one phone call, maybe two, if this one's real quick.
Who's it meant to be?
We ran late, so looks like 314. Keep calling back. I know you tried a few times, and here's another one. I'll pick this one up. Let's see, 828 area code. You're on the air. Who are we speaking with? 828.
Hey, this is Lisa.
Howdy, Lisa.
How are y'all doing?
Good.
Fantastic.
I like the Virgo energy. I like the Virgo energy and the Pisces full moon coming up. That's my favorite full moon of the whole year. I love the Pisces moon. Would you like a card, Lisa, so we can get your call on the other card, or would you like a question?
A card is fine. I completely missed the whole show. I'm sorry. I've had a crazy day.
Oh, it's on replay. Thanks to Joe. It's on replay.
Mm-hmm.
So you got number 19, and it's called Flexible. And this woman is literally doing some type of gymnastics to where her arms, she's got a hand plant on top of a cosmic egg, and her body is going back. She's looking back behind her, and the arch of her body, the trunk of her body, her feet are going over to the right while she's positioning herself on this egg, and there's spirals and labyrinths and orbits going on all around her. So the 19 in the tarot is the sun card. That's going to be an easy way if you look it up online. But the 19 is also about I had to learn myself. I allowed myself to see myself vis-a-vis other people, and now I'm a whole new reformed me. So there's a part of you that's taking the best of your mother and the best of your dad and the best of the experiences of who you've had make love to you and that you've been with and kids and all that, and you're like formulating. That's the best part of the compatibility in your life. I love this. That's electrical and that's magnetic. And it's like you're beginning to be okay with just being calm and serene and knowing that you're really literally a magnet right now. You're literally a magnet. So I would say this to you. I would say over the 25th and 26th, be very aware of your energy. There's a little bit of a disrupt possible for Aries Libra. It doesn't have to be. Since I told you, an astrologer tells you, then that means you won't have to fall prey to it or be surprised by it, because you know to keep yourself in check and not to overreact and to pay attention those 2 days. So that problem solved. So I feel like there's a relationship type of axis that's coming to where I keep hearing my spirit guides say, tell Lisa it's time for her. It's time for her. And she won't be spreading herself too thin and running her schedule too vast. It's time for her. So I see some cuddle up moments coming to you this autumn. I feel like there's going to be some nice cuddle, soft moments for you that are, it's nice for someone to stroke your hair kind of a thing. You can fall asleep on their shoulder, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
You need to be saying okay better than you be like, all right.
That's good. That's cuddles are good.
Yes,
That's a good reading.
Definitely.
So like
Yes,
Joe said,
well, thank
you have
you.
to let us. You do have to let us know. You can call back and go, I got my shoulder cuddle last night. That's all you have to say, Joe, and I'll know the whole thing.
So thanks for your
Oh,
call.
my goodness. All right,
Lisa.
thank you.
Bye.
All
We
right.
made her blush.
Cuddles are good. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
what I was thinking when you said that is like, am I going to get cuddles from the cat, or is it going to be from a person? You know,
Person.
like
Both.
I don't mind the cat at all, actually.
Well, the cat's going to cuddle with you, and it's going to like the new person to cuddle with them too.
Yeah. I'm calling this person back, Mary, because they called in
Yeah.
a bunch.
I
314
love it.
area code. This is the last
Perfect.
one, but 314, you're on the air. Who are you speaking with?
Hi, my name's Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Yeah.
What a great name.
I had to
From
call you
Hello.
back because you were hammering that phone. I was like, I feel bad. So,
Right.
Oh,
Oh,
I
thank you so
respect
much.
that too.
yeah.
I respect that too. Thank you, Joe. I respect that too. So, Lindsay, great name. Would you like a card, or do you have a question you'd like to get some psychic stuff on?
I think I would just take a card.
Okay. So you got the card number 35 in this Wisdom Oracle, and it's called Loyal Heart, and it's two owls. Two owls
Mm-hmm.
that have crowns on their head. This is such a pretty image. When I get done, I'll send it to Joe over in Messenger, and maybe he can put it in Telegram or something so you can see it. So, because it's the final card of the night, too. It's the final card of the night, which means it relates to all of us. In some way, it's going to bloom. There are keys, like antique keys, in a banner up top, and the 3 and the 5 add to an 8. So there's something expanding to do with the room in your heart you've got available, the time that you've got to be able to let love expand in your life, and that no matter what you've been through, you put loyalty way up at the top on your top 3 things of what you want in a friendship, and certainly in an intimate relationship, and that you have had tests and trials to do with loyalty either coming at you or you having to deal with getting over that fence. And I feel like that now the good karmic boomerang is coming back that says, you know what? She's going to be loyal. She's going to be loyal to herself. She's going to be loyal to her spirituality. What you see is what you get. And I feel like you're going to then attract how nice it feels to have that other person in your life, that they're not a player, they're not a gamer, they're not running game on you or with a nefarious agenda. It's just like it is what it is. And part of the relaxation and the excitement of it is what I see with you is what is. And oh my God, that's so sensual, that's so fair, that's so sexy, that's so relaxing. I haven't had that a lot. Thank you for that. So again, it goes back to gratitude and our connections.
Wow, that's amazing. That definitely aligns with a lot that I'm going through right now. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That's a
Great.
good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thanks for your call.
Thank you, honey. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and believe in your light. Believe in your light.
Thank you.
There's a ton of loyal people out there. Believe it or not, there is. Like there really
I believe it.
is. I know. I used to be one of those people, Mary, that didn't think that. Like
I'm proud of
there's
you.
there's no loyal people, but there are. You just hadn't met them yet. That's it.
Well, now you're receiving it. Like I said at the beginning of the show, one thing I liked about Gloria Copeland, not so much her husband, but her, is when I would watch her from time to time as a TV evangelist, she wasn't on much at all. She reminded me a lot of my mama. And she would say things like, she said, we all pray for help and for things. And she said, and for the peace and the presence of the Lord. And she said, but you've got to be able to receive it. You've got to claim it. You've got
Amen.
to receive it. And I can glory. And she threw her hand up and did glory. And I can tell you, her name Gloria, I can tell you that woman, just watching that a few times on the TV, it's like I feel that electricity from her. I don't need to know her personal life or her husband's income. I don't care about that. I felt the momentum of that right there. And every time I will remind myself, and I'm like, well, have I worked on that? Am I able to receive it? Or do I have my doubt and my ego in the way that I'm worth it on some kind of subconscious level? So in working on that, I like to give credit where credit's due. And I got to tell you, there was a TV evangelist named Gloria Copeland that said, you've got to receive it. You've got to claim it. So I think I want to finish this first Virgo new moon with that. Are you able to receive that it's not a limit anymore? Are you able to receive that whoever was toxic, whatever was toxic, is no more, and that we're shedding, as I said at the beginning of the show, these are layers, these are levels. This is boots on the ground, due diligence and discipline to be able to say, yeah, I'm one with God. So why am I doubting anything? Why can't I get out of my own way and just say, take it, God. Thank you, angels. You know, this new moon is centering around that 0 degree, and it's Regulus. It's the heart of the line, and it's the Archangel Raphael, and it's the 19th card in the tarot, and it's the suit of Pentacles. And since it's at 0 degrees 23 minutes, it's the Ace of Pentacles. It's the Ace. That's a birth. That's a blessing. That's the hand of fate issuing forth from a cloud and saying, here's a diamond. The Ace of Pentacles is the Ace of Diamond. Here is a diamond Merkaba of light. And where would you like it to orbit and send down rays of light? Where would you like that in your life right now? Because you've already been gifted that. So here it is. Where do you want it to be? Who would you like it to also bless? How can we activate this spiritual body of light for you and them? Because you are empathic, because you are compassionate, because this is the tribe that you all are building. You may receive the light, and we will also, because you've got the block out of the way and you receive the divine light and you're in divine alignment because you're receiving divine alignment, where may we also bless another that you care about, that you have a request for? Where may we join with your forces and send the high holy light upon? That's this new moon. That's this new moon.
Embrace it. Make sure you go to marydusina.com. If you haven't got a reading, get one. Mary, I guess we'll see you again when the moon turns dark, huh? This sucker's turning quick, isn't it? It's been turning quick.
Yeah, it is. And all of us in our charts, it's the Virgo area of our charts. It's the blessing and the work to be done. And the Pisces full moon that comes up, that's a blood moon on that September 6th and 7th in Pisces. That's what we're to receive and embrace and to also bid farewell. So it's a dynamic it's a work in progress. The next 6 to 8 weeks, I'm telling you, is the most empowering part of 2025. So stay away from the negativity and be the agent of light and the agent of gratitude and make a difference in this world. And thank you all.
Thank you guys for coming out. Get a reading from Mary, marydusina.com. Keep it here too. We'll be having more broadcasts on Lighting the Void. Mary will be back as the moon turns. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Love you guys. Sweet dreams.
Amen.
Night-night.
Amen.